Close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing on the hot sands of Giza. The year is around 2500 BC. Before you rises a structure so massive, so perfectly shaped, that it seems almost impossible human hands could have built it. Blocks of stone, each weighing more than a family of elephants, are being hauled by teams of workers in the blazing sun. The sound of chisels striking stone fills the air, mingled with the deep chanting of priests. You're not just looking at a pyramid, you're watching one of the greatest construction projects in human history unfold before your very eyes. Today, we're stepping back into that world, the world of the Great Pyramid builders. For the next half hour, we'll walk alongside the workers, hear the orders of overseers, feel the weight of stone, and glimpse the beliefs that drove this colossal effort. No modern machines, no modern explanations, just the ancient Egyptians themselves, building their way into eternity. The Great Pyramids of Giza stand as one of the most enduring symbols of ancient Egypt, but beyond their shape and scale lies a story of human ambition, skill, and faith. These were not simple tombs, they were ladders to the heavens, designed to ensure the pharaoh's safe journey to the afterlife. To understand them, we must leave behind our modern perspective and step into the sandals of those who lived thousands of years ago. Who were these people who built such vast monuments? How did they move stone without wheels or iron tools? And why did they devote their lives to building tombs for kings? Let's begin at the start of this incredible journey, the moment a pharaoh decides his eternal resting place must be built. Part 1. The pharaoh's vision. When a new pharaoh ascended the throne, one of his first duties was to begin preparations for his tomb. For the Egyptians, life on earth was temporary, but the afterlife was eternal. A pyramid was not just a tomb, it was a vessel, a staircase to the stars, and a fortress for the king's spirit. Pharaoh Khufu, ruler of Egypt's old kingdom, looked across the desert and chose a plateau near the Nile for his great project. He envisioned a pyramid taller and grander than any before it. Orders spread through the kingdom, from farmers to craftsmen, from priests to engineers. The machinery of Egypt's workforce began to move. At its heart, pyramid construction was as much about faith as it was about stone. Every block placed was an offering. Every wall aligned with the heavens was a prayer. Contrary to popular myths of slaves toiling under whips, the pyramid builders were free Egyptians. Most were farmers, who, during the flood season, when their fields lay under water, turned their strength to building. They were housed in nearby workers, villages organized, fed, and treated as part of a national mission. Imagine waking at dawn in one of these bustling camps. Smoke rises from cooking fires, and the smell of bread fills the air. Men gather in groups, eating their morning meal of beer, onions, and coarse bread before heading to the site. Overseers shout out assignments. Scribes note names on papyrus rolls. And the great tide of workers begins to march toward the pyramid. Some dig and shape the limestone blocks at nearby quarries. Others transport food, tools, or water. Teams of oxen pull sledges loaded with stone, while gangs of men sing chants to keep rhythm as they drag enormous blocks across sand made slick with water. It was not chaos, it was a vast, organized workforce, divided into squads of about 20 to 40 men, each with its own identity, sometimes even nicknamed, things like the Friends of Khufu. Step closer and you'd see the tools in their hands, simple copper chisels, wooden mallets, stone hammers, and rope. Copper blades dulled quickly against limestone, so blacksmiths worked constantly, sharpening and reshaping them. At the quarries, workers split blocks by driving wooden wedges into cracks in the stone, soaking them with water until the wood swelled, forcing the rock to split. Each block was then shaped roughly, marked with red ochre lines, and loaded onto sledges. Transporting these blocks was a feat of teamwork. Without wheels strong enough to carry such weight, sledges were dragged across ramps of mud and sand. Water was poured on the sand ahead of the sledges to reduce friction, an ancient trick that made the impossible just a little easier. The sound of hundreds of feet stomping in rhythm, the creak of ropes, and the shouts of overseers would echo across the desert as block after block crept toward the pyramid site. Now, picture the construction site itself. Rising before you is a giant, unfinished pyramid. Ramps snake up its sides, built of mud brick and limestone chippings. Workers haul blocks up these ramps, dragging them inch by inch, guided by overseers with long staffs. At each level, masons carefully position the stones. They chip, adjust, and polish, working until the fit is tight. The pyramid's sides must align perfectly with the 4 cardinal points, and each angle must be exact. This was not guesswork Egyptian. Engineers used plumb lines, leveling tools, and the stars themselves to guide their measurements. As the pyramid grew higher, so did the ramps. The air was filled with dust, sweat, and the constant rhythm of construction. The work never stopped. By day, men hauled stones. By night, priests climbed the growing structure, chanting prayers to Ra, the sun god, and Osiris, Lord of the underworld, ensuring the divine approval of the work. For the laborers, life was harsh but not without reward. Their bodies ached from hauling stone, but they were fed well compared to many Egyptians. Rations of bread, dried fish, onions, and jars of beer kept their energy up. In the evenings, the workers' village came alive with laughter, music, and rest. Some men repaired tools, while others told stories under the glow of oil lamps. Families lived nearby, and children played in the dusty streets. Growing up in the shadow of the great project, there were injuries, of course broken bones, crushed limbs, sickness, but healers and physicians treated them with herbs, splints, and prayers. To the workers, their sacrifice was part of something eternal. They were building not just for their king, but for the gods themselves. To truly understand why so many devoted their lives to this task, we must look at Egyptian beliefs. The pyramid was not simply a giant tomb. It was a bridge between earth and sky, a place where the pharaoh's soul would ascend to join the sun god on his eternal journey. Inside, narrow passageways and chambers were designed to guard the pharaoh's body and treasures. The walls were inscribed with prayers, hymns, and star maps to guide the king on his journey through the afterlife. For the common worker, this was not just the pharaoh's destiny, it was everyone's hope. By serving the king, they believed they were helping maintain Ma'at, the cosmic balance of order and harmony. Every stone laid was part of keeping the universe itself in balance. Years passed as the pyramid slowly rose into the sky. After decades of labor, the moment finally came to place the final stone. The capstone were polished, smooth, and often covered in gold. The capstone gleamed in the sun, visible for miles across the desert. Priests conducted rituals as the last block was set in place. The pyramid was complete, standing not only as a tomb, but as a monument to human endurance and divine will. Imagine the pride of the workers, looking up at the finished pyramid, knowing they had built something that would outlast generations. They had turned the desert into a beacon of eternity. Day to day, life around the pyramids was a blend of hard labor and deep faith. Workers shared food, laughter, and stories. Overseers calculated measurements with rope and stars. Priests offered incense and prayers as each new layer rose. From dawn to dusk, the desert echoed with the rhythm of human effort. It was hot, grueling, and exhausting, but it was also a source of pride. For many Egyptians, working on the pyramid was the greatest honor of their lives. As the sun sets over the desert, picture the Great Pyramid glowing in the fading light. Imagine the workers resting in their villages, the priests chanting their evening hymns, and the pharaoh dreaming of his eternal place among the stars. The Great Pyramids were not built by slaves, nor by miracles. They were built by thousands of ordinary Egyptians, farmers, craftsmen, engineers, and priests united by faith and purpose. They used simple tools, relentless determination, and a vision of eternity to shape stone into monuments that still stand today. And while we often marvel at the mystery of how they were built, the true wonder lies in the people who built them, their sweat, their skill, and their belief that with enough effort, even the desert itself could be transformed into a stairway to the gods. So next time you think of the pyramids, don't just see stone and sand. See the people, hear the chants, feel the weight of the ropes, smell the bread baking in the workers' camp. Step into their world, and for a moment, you too can walk among the great pyramid builders of ancient Egypt.